I was watching line 3 shut down for the third time this month when my phone buzzed. Text from Stephen Parker, my plant director. Russell, we're promoting Bradley Morrison to operations director instead of you. He brings fresh perspective. Announcement at 3 p.m. No explanation, no meeting, just a text message after 25 years of keeping this place running. I'm Russell Coleman, 54 years old, and I've been working defense manufacturing since I got out of the Navy at 26. Started as a diesel mechanic in the service, learned everything hands-on. 8 years on destroyers taught me that when something breaks at sea, you fix it right the first time or people die. I set the phone down on my clipboard and walked out to the production floor. The hum of the CNC machines felt different now, like equipment running out of spec. Stephen was standing near the quality control station, coffee in hand, talking to Bradley like he just solved our throughput problems. Bradley had his MBA from Northwestern, and a smile that looked good in boardroom presentations. What he didn't have was any idea how to actually run a defense manufacturing operation. I'd been training him for 8 months, showing him the preventive maintenance schedules I developed, the lean processes that cut our scrap rate by 15% and dropped operating costs 9%. The supplier relationships I'd built over 2 decades. The ITAR compliance protocols that kept our security clearance clean. He took notes, asked smart questions, and apparently decided my job looked better than his. When I reached them, Stephen handed me an envelope. "Thanks for mentoring Bradley," he said. "He's really absorbed your systems approach, my systems approach. That's what we were calling it now." I opened the envelope while they watched. Inside was a performance review and a lateral transfer to senior technical advisor. Same pay, less authority, and a cubicle instead of an office. They wanted me to train my replacement and then step aside quietly. I folded the papers and put them in my back pocket. "When does this take effect?" "Monday," Stephen said. "Bradley's got some exciting optimization projects lined up. Optimization projects using the process documentation I'd spent years developing. The maintenance protocols that kept our downtime under 4%. The supplier agreements I'd negotiated personally. All of it would get rebranded as innovative data-driven solutions. My wife Michelle had been expecting this promotion. We'd talked about it over dinner for months. The extra money would help with our son Andrew's student loans and our daughter Jennifer's college tuition. Now I'd have to explain why 25 years of dedication wasn't enough. But here's what they didn't know. For the past 6 months, I'd been having conversations with Patrick Sullivan, who runs a family defense operation about 35 miles east called Sullivan Defense Systems. Started as vendor meetings, turned into something more. Patrick appreciated military discipline over PowerPoint presentations. That afternoon, I cleaned out my office. 25 years of documentation, vendor contacts, process improvements, and troubleshooting guides went into boxes. Not because I was bitter, but because it was mine, developed on my own time with my own experience, never formally documented in company systems. The preventive maintenance schedules I'd created, personal notes based on 25 years of watching military spec equipment fail. The supplier relationships that got us priority service and bulk discounts, built through handshakes and keeping my word. The lean manufacturing processes that transformed our efficiency ratings, trial and error from decades of solving problems that could cost lives if done wrong. I left copies of the official procedures, but the real knowledge, the institutional memory that made those procedures work, that walked out with me. That evening, I sat Michelle down at the kitchen table. She could see something was different from the way I was carrying myself. "They gave it to Bradley," I said simply. Her face went through a series of emotions: surprise, disappointment, then anger. "After everything you've done for that place, 25 years apparently wasn't enough fresh perspective for them. So what happens now?" I reached across and took her hand. "I've been talking with Patrick Sullivan at Sullivan Defense. He's interested in bringing me on as operations director." Michelle knew about Patrick from my stories over the years. Good man, ran his family business the right way, treated people with respect. What would that mean for us? Different company, same work, but somewhere that values experience over credentials. The salary would actually be better, and Patrick mentioned equity participation. For the first time that day, I saw hope in her eyes. 25 years of watching me come home frustrated with corporate politics had taken its toll on both of us. Monday morning, Bradley moved into my office. New nameplate, fresh flowers, a whiteboard covered in MBA buzzwords like synergistic optimization and data-driven efficiency metrics. He called an all-hands meeting to introduce his vision. "We are going to revolutionize our approach," he announced. Russell built a solid foundation, but it's time to move beyond old-school methods and embrace innovation. The floor supervisors looked at each other. Jason Brooks, who'd worked with me for 14 years, just shook his head. These guys knew the difference between theory and reality. I spent my last week transitioning what they legally required me to transition. Official procedures, company-owned documentation, formal processes, but the real knowledge, the judgment calls, the relationships, the institutional memory that made everything work, that stayed with me. By Wednesday, the first crack started showing. Line 2 went down for what should have been routine maintenance on the bearing assemblies. But the documentation Bradley was following didn't include the specific torque specifications for our particular setup. Standard mill spec said 45 fetal bills. Experience said 42 for our equipment because of the ambient temperature variations in our facility. They torqued to 45. Bearing failed within 4 hours. 6-hour production delay while they waited for replacement parts that had to meet defense standards. I wasn't there to see it happen, but Jason called me that evening. Russell, you should have seen the panic on Bradley's face when that bearing seized. He kept looking at the manual like it was going to give him different answers. Thursday brought another issue. Our primary titanium supplier, Brooks Industries, needed to discuss delivery schedules for a critical Navy contract. Bradley scheduled a formal meeting with contracts and presentations. What he didn't know was that Brooks had been flexible with us for years because of personal relationships. Scott Brooks and I went way back. We'd worked through supply shortages, payment delays, and quality issues with handshake agreements that saved both our companies money and time. Scott called me directly that afternoon. Russell, what's going on over there? This new guy wants to renegotiate everything. Says he's optimizing vendor relationships. I told him I wasn't involved anymore. He said Brooks Industries would honor existing contracts but wouldn't be extending any special accommodations going forward. No more priority deliveries. No more bulk discount pricing. Everything by the book. Meanwhile, I was settling in at Sullivan Defense Systems. Patrick's operation was smaller but smarter. Family-owned, 3 generations of building quality components for military applications without the corporate nonsense. When I explained what I could bring to their operation, Patrick didn't ask for presentations or data projections. Show me, he said. I spent 2 weeks analyzing their production flow. Identified bottlenecks they'd been working around for years. Proposed modifications to their preventive maintenance program, suggested supplier consolidation that could cut material costs 14%. The difference was night and day. Where my old company had layers of approval for every decision, Patrick gave me authority to implement changes immediately. Where Bradley needed consultants to validate obvious improvements, Patrick trusted experience over theory. Within a month, we'd improved their line efficiency, 16%. Cut downtime by 28%. Streamlined their supply chain so deliveries came when needed, not when convenient for suppliers. The best part? Patrick offered equity. Not just a job, but ownership stake in improvements I created. After 25 years of making other people's operations profitable, someone finally wanted to share the upside. Back at my old plant, the situation was deteriorating faster than I expected. Jason's updates got more frequent and more concerning. Third machine failure this month, he texted. Steven's looking stressed. Bradley brought in consultants to analyze our processes, the same processes I'd built through years of trial and error, working with equipment that had to meet military specifications, where failure wasn't just expensive, it was dangerous. Now they were paying consultants $200 an hour to reverse engineer systems I'd developed through decades of hands-on experience. The consultants finished their analysis in 6 weeks and recommended implementing optimized lean manufacturing protocols. Basically, they took my old systems, gave them fancy names, and charged $85,000 for the privilege. But implementation was a disaster. The consultants understood theory, not application. They saw the procedures but missed the context. Equipment that needed specific handling got generic treatment. Suppliers that required personal relationships got form letters. By the second month, the cracks were showing everywhere. Production efficiency dropped 12%. Maintenance costs jumped because they were using generic procedures instead of equipment-specific protocols developed through years of watching those particular machines fail. 2 smaller suppliers stopped offering preferred pricing. Quality control started catching defects that should have been prevented upstream. Customer complaints increased for the first time in 5 years. The breaking point came during Bradley's 3rd month. Line 2 went down completely. not routine maintenance, but catastrophic failure that should have been prevented by proper monitoring protocols, the kind I developed specifically to catch early warning signs. But Bradley's team was following consultant recommendations, not real-world experience. They missed the vibration patterns, ignored the temperature data, and pushed the equipment past safe operating parameters because the computer model said it was within acceptable ranges. 14-hour shutdown, emergency replacement parts flown in from California, overtime crews working through the weekend. Customer delivery delays that triggered penalty clauses in their Navy contract. The kind of cascading failure that happens when you replace institutional knowledge with theoretical frameworks. Jason texted me a photo from the plant floor that weekend. Equipment covered in tarps, technicians swarming around failed machinery, Bradley standing off to the side looking lost. He's in Steven's office getting screamed at right now. Jason wrote, "Word is the board wants answers, nobody can give them." I didn't feel satisfaction looking at that picture, just sadness. 25 years of building reliable systems destroyed because someone confused credentials with capability. At Sullivan Defense, we were hitting our stride. Patrick introduced me to customers as operations director within my first month. The efficiency improvements I'd implemented were generating serious profits, and word was spreading in the tight-knit defense manufacturing community. "Russell," Patrick said one afternoon, "I've got 3 companies asking if we can handle overflow work. Your reputation's preceding you." That's when I realized something important. 25 years of building trust doesn't disappear when you leave a company. It follows you. The customers who'd relied on my word, the suppliers who'd done business on handshakes, the quality that came from understanding equipment at a visceral level, none of that belonged to my old employer. It belonged to me. Within 6 months, we started competing directly with my former company for contracts I'd originally helped them win. The first contract we won was a big one. Navy propulsion components that my old company had supplied for 12 years. When they put the job out for rebid, Sullivan Defense came in 18% lower with better delivery timelines. Jason texted me that night. "He heard you guys won the Morrison contract. Steven called an emergency management meeting. Bradley saying we need to reassess our competitive positioning. He was learning that process documentation without understanding is just expensive paperwork. The Navy procurement officer who'd made the switch called Patrick directly the next week. "Your operations manager, Russell, used to work at our previous vendor. We followed him here because he actually delivers what he promises. Rare these days. Word spreads fast in defense manufacturing. Customers talk to other customers. Suppliers compare notes. When you've built trust over decades, people remember. And when that trust walks out the door of one company, it doesn't disappear. It just relocates." More contracts followed over the next few months. Our lean operation could underbid the bloated bureaucracy I'd left behind. Customers who remembered my reliability followed the work to Sullivan Defense. Suppliers who valued relationship-based business gave us priority treatment. Scott Brooks from Brooks Industries was one of the first to reach out. "Russell, heard about your new situation. We'd like to discuss resuming our preferred partnership terms." The same terms my old company had just lost because Bradley thought vendor relationships could be optimized through PowerPoint presentations. Within 8 months, my old plant was in serious trouble. Equipment failures were constant because they'd abandoned the maintenance protocols that actually worked in favor of consultant-recommended optimization. Production delays were affecting customer relationships. They'd burned through 3 different consulting firms trying to solve problems I could have prevented with a single phone call. The final straw came when their biggest customer, Coleman Industries, terminated their contract early. Quality issues, delivery delays, and communication problems had eroded a relationship that took years to build. Coleman's purchasing manager called me the day after they canceled. "Russell, heard you're at Sullivan Defense now. We've got a manufacturing need coming up. You interested in bidding?" Just like that. A $322 million annual contract walked out of my old company's portfolio and into ours. Not because we poached it, but because competence has a reputation that follows you wherever you go. Patrick was ecstatic. "Russell, this puts us in a completely different league. We're talking about expanding the facility, adding a second shift, maybe bringing on 15 more people. For the first time in 25 years, I was part of building something instead of just maintaining what someone else had created." Then came the call I'd been expecting. Steven's number showed up on my phone at 8:15 on a Thursday morning. "Russell, we need to talk. Can you come in today? I could hear the desperation under his professional tone. Production problems were becoming cost overruns. Customer complaints were turning into contract cancellations. The board was asking questions Stephen couldn't answer. "I've got 30 minutes at 2 p.m., I told him. When I walked into his office that afternoon, Stephen looked like he'd aged 10 years and 10 months. Bradley was there too, laptop open, looking defensive. "We're having some operational challenges," Stephen began. "Transition issues. We were hoping you might consult on some technical matters." Technical matters. They wanted to hire me back as a contractor to fix the problems created by replacing me. "What kind of technical matters?" I asked. Bradley jumped in. "We're experiencing some equipment reliability issues and supplier relationship complications. Your institutional knowledge could help us optimize our troubleshooting protocols." Institutional knowledge, supplier relationship complications. He was describing the collapse of everything I'd built, using MBA language to avoid saying they'd made a mistake. "You want me to fix the problems you created by getting rid of me," I said. Stephen shifted uncomfortably. "It's not that simple, Russell. We value your expertise. We're prepared to offer competitive consulting rates." "What rates? $175 an hour?" "Short-term basis." I almost laughed. They were willing to pay me $100 and Hundertsteiner and there. And when I finished, Bradley would get the credit for turning around operational challenges. "I appreciate the offer," I said, "but I'm not available." Stephen's face went pale. "Russell, be reasonable. We can work something out." "I'm being reasonable," I said. "You decided you didn't need my expertise. Turns out you were wrong. That's not my problem anymore." I left that meeting knowing they were finished. Equipment failures were increasing. Costs were climbing. Customer satisfaction was dropping, and their solution was to throw consulting dollars at problems that required experience. 3 weeks later, Jason texted me with news that confirmed what I already knew. Bradley got fired today. Board meeting this morning. Stephen's announcing early retirement next month. The house of cards had finally collapsed. Not because I pushed it, but because I walked away with the foundation and took it somewhere that appreciated its value. At Sullivan Defense, we were preparing for our biggest expansion yet. The success we'd achieved in the first year had attracted attention from a major defense consortium. They wanted to discuss a long-term partnership that would double our production capacity. Patrick called me into his office the morning before the meeting. "Russell, this is your show. You built what they want to buy. I want you to lead the negotiation, leading negotiations, making strategic decisions, having my expertise recognized and rewarded. Everything I'd been denied at my old company was becoming reality at Sullivan Defense." The consortium meeting went better than expected. They'd done their homework, researched our efficiency improvements, talked to our customers. "Your reliability metrics are exceptional," their lead negotiator said. 14 months of on-time delivery, 0 quality complaints, industry-leading cost structure. "How do you maintain that level of performance?" "Experience," I told him. "We don't chase theories. We solve problems." They offered a 7-year partnership worth $8.5 million annually. Guaranteed volume, premium pricing, and profit-sharing incentives for meeting performance targets. The kind of deal that transforms a family business into an industry leader. That night, Michelle and I celebrated over dinner at the steakhouse where we'd had our first date 28 years ago. The equity stake I'd earned at Sullivan Defense was now worth serious money. Andrew's student loans would be paid off within 6 months. Jennifer's college tuition was covered through graduation. Financial security I'd never imagined was suddenly within reach. "You know what the best part is," Michelle said. "It's not the money, it's seeing you respected for what you do instead of taken for granted." She was right. For 25 years, I'd been treated like a necessary expense instead of a valuable asset. Now my expertise was generating wealth instead of just preventing problems. 4 months later, I got a call that brought everything full circle. The private equity firm that had bought my old plant after its collapse wanted to meet. They'd heard about my track record at Sullivan Defense and were interested in hiring me to turn around their struggling acquisition. "We understand you built the original systems," their representative said. "The facility has potential, but it needs experienced leadership. We're prepared to offer significant compensation for your expertise." They wanted to pay me $225,000 base salary plus performance bonuses to rebuild what I'd already built once. The irony was perfect. They destroyed my life's work, then offered to pay me premium rates to recreate it. "I'm not interested," I told them. "Mr. Coleman, be practical. This could be very lucrative for you." "It's not about money," I said. "It's about respect. That place never valued what I brought to it." "I'm not interested in going back to fix their mistakes." The industry trade publication ran a feature story 2 weeks later. Sullivan Defense Systems experienced Trump's theory in competitive manufacturing. The article detailed our success using proven lean manufacturing principles and veteran leadership. My phone rang within hours of publication. Industry contacts, former colleagues, even competitors wanting to know how we'd achieved such dramatic improvements. The defense manufacturing community is small. Word travels fast when someone gets results. But the call that meant the most came from Chief Petty Officer Williams, my old Navy mentor who'd retired 8 years ago. He'd seen the article and wanted to congratulate me. "Russell, I've been watching your career for 20 years, he said. "What you've built at Sullivan Defense is what manufacturing used to be about: competence, reliability, and respect for the work. You should be proud. Coming from Chief Williams, that meant everything. He taught me that manufacturing wasn't just about making things work, but about building something that lasted, something you could be proud to put your name on." The final chapter came exactly 1 year after I'd left. Jason, who'd managed to survive the chaos at my old plant, called with an update that brought everything full circle. "Russell, you're not going to believe this," he said. "The private equity guys shut down the whole operation yesterday, sold the equipment to a scrap dealer. Buildings going up for lease. 25 years of building something solid, destroyed in 18 months by people who confused credentials with capability." But that wasn't my story anymore. Mine was still being written. At Sullivan Defense, we were celebrating our most successful quarter in company history. The consortium partnership had exceeded projections by 22%. Our workforce had grown from 38 to 65 employees. Patrick was talking about opening a second facility to handle overflow demand. That morning, he called me into his office with news that changed everything again. "Russell, I've been thinking about succession planning. My son's more interested in law school than manufacturing. Would you consider becoming my partner? Full 50-50 ownership after a 5-year transition period. Partnership, not employment, but ownership. After spending 25 years making other people wealthy with my expertise, someone wanted to share the equity I created. What would that look like? I asked. You buy in at current valuation, which your profit sharing has more than covered. We restructure as Coleman Defense. You take over day-to-day operations. I handle strategic planning and customer relationships. We build this thing together, Coleman Defense. My name on the building. My expertise, creating wealth for my family instead of just preventing problems for someone else's company. That night, Michelle and I sat on our back porch talking about the offer. Andrew had graduated debt-free and landed a good engineering job. Jennifer was finishing her junior year with no student loans. The mortgage would be paid off next year, 15 years early. What do you think? I asked her. I think you've earned this 10 times over, she said. 25 years of them taking you for granted, and now someone wants to make you an equal partner. That's what respect looks like. 6 months later, the sign went up, Coleman Defense Systems, my name in letters 3 feet tall, visible from the highway. 54 years old and finally building something that belonged to me. Today, I'm sitting in my office reviewing expansion plans for our new Naval Systems Division. On my desk is a framed photo of our original production line and a copy of the Manufacturing Weekly cover story. Not because I'm dwelling on the past, but because they remind me of the journey from being undervalued to being irreplaceable. Patrick stopped by this morning with profit-sharing calculations for the year. Our 65 employees are getting bonuses averaging $4,200 each. Jason Brooks, who followed me from the old plant 8 months ago, is now our floor supervisor with equity participation. Russell, this operation's performing 25% above projections, Patrick said. The partnership's working exactly like we hoped. Our people are telling me this is the best place they've ever worked. That's what happens when you value experience over credentials, relationships over reorganizations, and results over theories. When you remember that manufacturing is about making things work, not making presentations look impressive. My old plant is now a strip mall. Home Depot anchors one end. Chain restaurants fill the middle. The loading docks, where I spent 25 years receiving materials, are now parking spaces for people buying lawnmowers and eating fast food. But that's their story. Mine continues every morning when I walk through our production facility, checking equipment, talking to operators, solving problems that textbooks never mentioned. Building something solid, something lasting, something I can put my name on with pride. The best revenge against being undervalued isn't proving them wrong. It's building something so successful that their opinion becomes irrelevant. And sometimes, if you're patient enough and do the work right, you get to build something that will outlast you, a legacy built on competence, respect, and the simple idea that experience matters. Respect isn't given to titles. It's earned through results, and it follows you wherever your competence leads. In the end, the greatest victory isn't defeating those who undervalued you. It's building something so meaningful that their judgment becomes a footnote in your success story. True professional vindication comes not from proving you were right all along, but from creating a legacy that stands as permanent testimony to what happens when competence meets opportunity.